are you sure this is a good idea?
I mean, yeah. Like I said, talking to the person who trained you previously can help me figure out how whatever the fuck that power you've got actually works. Unless, of course, you're hiding something else from me that you know I'll be pissed at you about.
Oh, no, it's not that. It's just... Well... There's a reason I got impatient.
I'm sorry, is that a purple hippopotamus?
Look, my life is basically a gigantic Five Nights at Freddy's reference anyway. I wouldn't question it.
Okay, look, you wait here. Figured it'd be better if I just deal with this myself anyway.
Yeah, I don't know the budget for Joke-A-Dead anyway. Hey, babe. How's it going?
Oh, yeah, you know, nothing much. Just wondering, where the fuck are you?
Tarkir?
What?
Never mind. I got caught up in some things. I'll be back soon, okay?
Wait, what things?
Look, it involves the fire guy. There's a dude in a pink suit here. Trust me, it's overly complicated, or so I'm told. It doesn't matter.
Well, look, I've been caught up in some things too, but I have an excuse about being simple-ish. Look, can we just jump straight into a Discord call or something so that we can FaceTime, or do you want me to show up unexpectedly?
I don't think either of those would actually work between planes of existence. Oh, fuck, guess they do.
Who dat?
Some furry guy and somebody who trained me a few years ago. They aren't relevant to this episode.
Ah. Hey, what's that?
Oh, that normally shows up when I'm about to do a commentary for some reason.
Guess we have no other choice then. Anyways, you want me to show you what I've been caught up with recently, at the time of scripting this?
If the plot demands it.
Screw the rules, I'm the plot for this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Sonic Meerkat, a person who makes YouTube videos. Just like everyone else who was targeted in the Boon Cannon series. Specifically though, he made videos about, skits, maybe some rants or whatnot. I don't know. Anyways, back in June the 26th, 2018, he made a rant about the commentary community, though mainly focusing on Doodletones, Manga Comment, and Just a Robot. Two of these aren't even related to the CC in any way, shape, or form. I then left the comment that explains that while there are 3 people in the video used as an example, he only uses those 3 and then generalized the CC by listing off most of the members of the CEC. I then also state, and quoting from the comment, "Thanks for reminding me as to why I hate CC rants like this, especially when you yourself don't want to do research since, guess what? Doodletones has done gameplay footage, especially very recently." He then made a comment about that, viewed my channel, complained in my 23rd commentary via in a comment, and in this video. This video is entitled CCC Continuation, responding to the response, where he takes my comment that I've made and evaluates it.
And for the record, we're aware that he's disowned the original video he made, or at least I think that's what inaccurate video in the thumbnail means, since I see no indication other than that, but this video remains unchanged, and that doesn't mean what he says here isn't worth examining. Hell, it doesn't mean what he said in the original isn't worth examining. It is worth noting that his response came before that change and after Doodle's response to the original video. Hi, by the way, Meerkat. I'm the guy whose comments on the Google Doc Doodle kept showing. Yeah, there was more than just that, by the way.
Let's just get started before you make the intro an hour long.
As though us starting the video would stop me.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Right, so the response of the commentary video. So, first off, thank you for picking up the video. Second, I'm sorry the video is shit.
You know, I never thought I'd get to use this one again.
What are you doing?
Hi, excuse me, Jeff Goldblum, I have questions. Who the fuck are you? What video are you talking about? What response are you talking about? I would really like to know. Yeah, that. Basically, see, normally I can be like, oh, we'll get the context during the video, it's not a big deal. But the only way I can think to describe how you started this video is in mid-fucking sentence. I mean, if you're doing a sketch, then maybe you'd be writing in a way where that would happen, but here, you're talking in front of a camera. Do something to introduce what you're talking about other than, okay, right, the response.
Not for reasons that you might think, it's more I don't really like how I kind of presented the video rather than any points. Like 8363 MTR, yeah, got that name correct. He's like the only person who actually commented any criticism towards it instead of just disliking the video, which I mean, fair enough. Like, I mean, the intro is very shit, so, you know, there's not really anything to grab you, and then the way that I presented it, yeah, that. And then the latter part of the video, I got sick of editing, finding resources and that. So I kind of started recycling some, like you see the fucking Doodle Tones screenshot over and over in it. I just wanted to upload it because it has been sitting on my computer for like a month or so, and I didn't really have any passion for it anymore, but I did still spend quite a bit of time getting it done, so I might as well release it.
So, you knew that the video was bad, even to the point where you've explained to us some of the problems that were made, and you've still released it anyways. Okay.
This is basically like saying it's too late to change something in the video because it's already in your editor. For one, if you planned out what assets you were going to use ahead of time and knew what you needed to express everything you needed to express, then you wouldn't really have the problems of getting tired of finding stuff. And for two, if you have no passion for a video, that's the point where you should not release the video. I get putting in a lot of work and not wanting to waste that work, but when you're not happy with the end result, guess what? You already have wasted the work. Also, this is going to bite you in the ass later. You know, because of course it will.
Wait, there's no hospital around here, is there? Should we be cautious if he's going to bleed to death?
There's clerics, he'll be fine.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
His main point is me only using Doodle Tones, Just a Robot and Magna Common as an example. Well, to that I say, what does adding all of these other commentators add to the commentary?
I really don't think that you should ask this question due to poor wording. The question you should be asking about is, what do any of these other channels have that other channels don't? And to that I say, why don't you take a look then? Yeah, there's a main reason why I've actually listed off all of these channels to begin with. And that's because if you don't like what those people are doing, then you can maybe move on to the next and try to see if there's anything interesting for you to stick around. For example, you've complained about how there's an avatar in the video and how most of us always uses that. Why not look at Pondersprocket, or in some cases the Nation of Johnny K, to name a few. Pondersprocket mainly does speed draws since she's busy with commissions and the likes of that, while the Nation of Johnny K for some cases mainly uses his camera to do his commentaries on. In fact, I didn't mention this guy due to how I personally don't think that he's really all that credible. Apologies in advance. But Blaze the Movie Fan is another huge example because he's someone who does commentaries with his camera. Essentially, but he doesn't like doing commentaries with an avatar or whatnot, so there's that guy too. Not only that, but I've even stated that Doodle Tones mainly does commentaries via using footage from Minecraft that she and two others made.
To answer the question as you asked it though, it provides more examples of people doing the thing that you don't like. I mean, you know, instead of just making a video about 3 people, 2 of which don't even consider themselves part of the community that you define at the outset, and 1 of which you are fully aware doesn't consider himself part of the community in the form of Jar.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then Just a Robot and Doodle with the voice edits, Just a Robot and Magna Common in terms of the avatars with a normal setting background, you know, still never changing background, still image changing in front of it, but the quality of those backgrounds and images are a lot higher than just finding something off of Google Images and copy pasting it with a little bit of a crop.
I don't know what this point is. Okay, so I get the Jar and Doodle having voice changer thing, but the Jar manga sharing still image background, even though that's not something you brought up in your original video, and if you did, you only did so as a secondary point. On top of that, you directly mentioned Doodle when talking about someone with a still image background, which isn't true at all, and Manga Comment does use animation in his backgrounds as well. In fact, that's something that a lot of people have complained about with his videos, distracting background elements. And I seem to recall your biggest problem with avatars being the lack of people using OCs, which is something that really only Doodle does at all, and even then she still has an OC that she uses frequently, so that complaint doesn't even apply to her 100%.
Actually, David, there was something in which case that you did clarify. Well, not really in this video, but within the comment that he made in my 23rd commentary. He states that it's a main problem to have, and I quote, a never-changing background behind the images, with no cohesion. What do you think about that note, then?
He does mention it offhand in the video, but in no way does it sound like his main point when he puts so much emphasis on the avatar itself.
So, yeah. So the entire reason why this video exists rather than comment is because, one, more people are going to see a video, rather than a comment, and yeah, it's easier to talk about the flaws of the video outside of the video itself because, a little bit more context in terms of that, and I don't really have to bother looking for so many resources.
I'm sorry, what was the point again? Something about sources?
Okay, the first part of that, worse than... Fuck, I can't even think of a mumble rapper to compare that shit to. It was that unintelligible, but I understood the back half. You're saying it's easier to respond in video form rather than in comment form for two reasons. Because it provides more context, and because you don't have to have as many resources. Both of these things are completely untrue. You mean to tell me that a video on a separate page is going to have more context inherently than a comment on the same page as the video in question? Yeah, there's at least one extra degree of separation, and that's only if you link to the original video in the description. Which you don't, so that adds at least 1 degree of separation. So if anything, it would have less of the context. As for needing to find less resources, I mean, you're more likely to need to find resources when making a video than leaving a comment, period. Even if you're just filming yourself and uploading your rambling, unscripted turd stain onto the site, that still takes the effort of setting up the camera and filming, whereas the comment not only would let you make sure that you're getting across what you need to get across, it would also be something you could work on without having to worry about background noise, visual setup, the way you look. It's less resources inherently. And if you're talking about using fewer assets, you don't use visual evidence in the comment anyway, so what the fuck are you even on about?
Well, I understand the first part, actually. He's saying that more people are going to see his video specifically over making a comment.
Oh, that's gonna bite him in the ass!
God damn it, Boon. I don't think that this kid has insurance yet.
Then he doesn't need to run into a yard full of attack dogs naked, I'm just saying.
But yeah, my main problem with the video isn't actually anything that I said inside of it, because, a lot of commentators that I didn't mention, many of which are tiny, still use the shit foreground style. Oh, and they continue changing between different avatars for different videos. In fact, some of them even make a little starting skit to decide who gets to be what character. But the reason why I didn't want to pick them, one, it's just plain laziness. I can't deny that.
Or, maybe you just haven't seen any of these people before, but, continue.
I could have easily looked for collaboration videos, clicked on the channels which were involved in the collaboration, look through their videos, see how the collaborations there, the YouTube algorithm be damned. But an actual reason... Thank you, Jasper. But an actual reason why I didn't do it is because punching up has minimal damage. Like, I mean, the video has been picked up by other commentators. Like, I mean, I think that there's at least someone working on a commentary video about it, because there's only been 2 comments, one of which criticising it, and yet the watch time is enough for 3 people to have watched it, and, you know, it's only 33 views, so, you know, not really too much likelihood of people clicking away part way, and it's still reaching a massive amount of watch time.
I'll admit to something here. I didn't even watch the full video before leaving the comment. That's how bad your video was. Yeah, my point, while nitpicky-ish, please don't say that only 3 people watched it in full and then state that not a lot of people even watched the video in question.
Your comment makes no sense. You mean to tell me that your watch time equates to 1/11th of the total run time if everyone had watched the video all the way through, and you think that means people aren't clicking off the video quickly? Hell, never mind the fact that some people could be downloading the video a few minutes in because of how obvious it was that it was material. Your numbers indicate that people were not watching the whole thing. And then you turn around and say that they indicate the opposite? Do you know how the numbers work? 2 + 2 does not equal fish!
It equals a heart coming out of a book. Or an infinite plane. I don't know.
So, that's something to look forward to, I guess. See why my video is actually shit, and not because I didn't want to use extra examples. But anyway. Yeah, if the video did blow up, like, honestly, I was hoping to. It's to test out a new video making style. So I thought, hey, what is this style based on? The commentary community. Let's make a video on the commentary community. And I say in the video, not that this is an expose, but if you show examples of something being bad, it's going to look bad by definition. The more channels I showed that I would show in that video means the more channels that I was calling out and questioning their quality.
Because it's not like calling out an entire community, already does that.
This is kind of the main reason why I don't really like your video, Meerkat. It's because you're using some people who are within the CC, actually just one, but details, when there's plenty of other people who are within the community that can change the style up. Hell, this is the main reason why I don't really like CC rants in general, and it's generally because of the fact that they also bring in other specific people in the rant and only call them out on it, and then afterwards call the entire community bad. Take a look at Frozen Angel, for example. He made a rant against the commentary community only because of people such as Doodletones, Jonah Smith, and I think Kirby Star Warrior, but I could be wrong. Oh, and also towards the people who did the commentary on him before. Anyways, he made that rant simply because he had beef with Doodletones, Jonah, and again, I think, Kirby, that ended up on Twitter. He then generalizes the rant and say that everyone within the CC either hates him, when no, some people don't know who Frozen Angel was back then, or that we don't necessarily hate him. Granted, your video isn't the worst case scenario, as the only drama that you've mentioned was the Jar versus Doodle drama that you yourself didn't partake in, but it's still a bad rant that you made regardless, simply due to the fact that you've only brought up 3 examples and generalizes everyone within the CC.
And look, I get pointing out stylistic things that you don't like and using examples of people who do these things and how it doesn't work, but it's not like you can't do that while providing more examples than 1 per issue. Even members of the Alt-CC did a better job of having more than 1 example of a particular problem they had, and your excuse is that you don't want to call people out? I'll get to that punching up shit later, but that's not as valid a reason as you think it is. Oh, and as for the whole homage thing, I know you're going to elaborate on this more, but I'm going to start on that here. Bullshit.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Wanna make out?
It seems that you have met a horrible demise, my friend. But, these things happen in life. Life goes on. Not for you, obviously. You're dead. But it reminds me of a time I was having a conversation with my friend Orville. We were, where were we? I think we were by the river. We were sitting by the river and watching the fish leap over the falls. And I said to Orville, sometimes I feel like a fish leaping over and over again, always trying to get somewhere, though I don't know where, only to find myself in the jaws of a beast. He, of course, looked at me, surprised, Have you been in the jaws of a beast, friend? To which I said, no, of course not, Orville. I said, no. I simply meant that life can seem like a relentless endeavor to overcome meaningless obstacles, only to meet an equally meaningless fate, regardless of your efforts, regardless of the obstacles you've passed. And Orville, he stood and proceeded to drape me with a picnic cloth, to which I asked him, I said, friend, what are you doing? He looked at me very concerned, really. I feel like you've gotten too much sun. Indeed, indeed I had. He proceeded to pour me a glass of just ice-cold lemonade. Ooh, you ever mix it with iced tea? You do like a little half lemonade, half... Ooh, it's so... You should try it some... Well, you can't because you're dead. But anyways, so you may be asking yourself, how did I go from sitting by the falls and drinking lemonade to being wedged in the air duct? Not only with Orville, but with an entire assortment of fruity-colored friends. Well, there's really no good answer to that, but perhaps I met a demise of my own.
Hey, maybe you should either script your video again or at least try to prepare your video / make some jump cuts in it. Okay, thanks.
And yes, I have had lemonade with tea. It's delicious.
Maybe it doesn't mean anything at all.
Wanna make out again?
I think the flaw of the video is that I made a commentary it's just the concept of it. It's a commentary video on the commentary community. The reason why it's flawed in concept is that way is because of the nature of commentary videos. So, I say in the beginning that, Boogie, for example, he used to be like a drama commentator at one point, while Keemstar and shit were still... Keemstar had a little bit of a resurgence, but back when YouTube drama was the fucking shit and the larger YouTubers were actually taking notice of it.
I'm sorry, what does this have to do with anything? At all?
I will play the one with the frozen birds!
You're just gonna keep referring to Five Nights at Freddy's in this commentary, aren't you?
If this guy's gonna be Mr. Hippo IRL, I'm gonna get comedy gold out of it, damn it.
Bendy's better.
But Bendy's not a meme!
I cited him as an example because how the commentaries worked was, alright, so this happened, this is the good, this is the bad, let's move on to the next point, this is the good. Alright, no, he started off with the bad and then the good, but that ordering doesn't really matter. The point is, because he tried to be so impartial about showing both sides, he actually didn't show his own side, making the video actually pointless.
Couldn't one argue for the fact that debunking said arguments can show off your side of the arguments then? I get for the fact that you maybe want to see some pros within the video and how you want to see someone agree, but how can we if we don't bring anything new to the table? If we don't do that, then it would drag the video out and it becomes more or less of a boring reaction video.
Ah, well, I see you didn't do your research on the original video like you said you did, because, I exist. Pointing out what you feel were positives and negatives of a situation does provide your side to an argument, even if your side falls somewhere in the middle. While true, you're more likely to say nothing if you're providing a neutral standpoint, it's not inherently true that you're going to say nothing about a subject. After all, like I said, my entire channel exists.
Oh hey, another example of you not looking at the list of users in question. Yeah, that first statement was a semi-joke, but fuck it. I want to expand just a little bit. See his commentary/reviews related towards the Powerpuff Girls 2016 version, as well as my 16th commentary on my channel, which was on Nero's Q, cause we both have a neutral stance on the show.
And then a positive commentary video would be like, oh hey, you said this, I agree with that, you said this, I think that you could have went into more detail and used this as an extra source, but I still agree with your core argument. That's a pointless commentary video because there's literally no commentary to it. It's just agreeing with whatever was said in the original video.
You're aware that commentary has nothing to do with agreement or disagreement, right? For there to be commentary, there has to be something added. And your second example? Yeah, that's still commentary. Once again, this is going to be something that I've done on my channel. In fact, Boon Cannon 27 was a video where I primarily expanded on what was being reported, and although I disagreed in a few places, I also added information to show why I agreed and disagreed regardless. Hell, there's been plenty of videos where I agreed with the core of the argument, but the supporting information behind that core argument was what I had a problem with. You know, like the vast majority of my content. And yeah, I'm only one example of someone making a positive video and still providing commentary. But your point wasn't that people don't do it, it was that positive videos themselves provide no commentary. I don't need more than one iteration to prove that equation false.
Something that you could have literally left inside of a YouTube comment. But a commentary is mostly negative because it's designed to basically point out the flaws of the original video. Any points that they have missed, any points that are blatantly wrong, any misinformation that they're spreading. Stuff like that, stuff which you can tangibly criticize for being wrong. That's what a commentary video is. A rebuttal to the original. So to try to make something in that style, which is also a homage to the community, was a really shit idea. Because you know, no, wanting to make a commentary video, you need to be negative. You need to have enough wrong to be able to make an entire commentary video about it. And you can't exactly balance out the negativity with points that you do agree with. Because what's the point in the video that just agrees with what is said inside of its reply? It's more along the lines of an edited post-reaction.
Okay, so like even ignoring my existence, there's so many problems with this point that it's, well, disgusting. First of all, you can pay homage to the things that you like about a style while still critiquing things that you don't. In fact, that's a good way to provide criticism of a style. Change what you don't like and keep what you do. Horror movies do it all the time, you chucklefuck. Second, you start by saying that you can't balance positives and negatives, but then your reason for this is that you can't make a video that agrees with its reply? I mean, first of all, yes, you can do that. It's called being aware that the other side also has a valid point, even if you don't agree with it, you chucklefuck. And second of all, you're comparing a video being fully negative to a video only being partially positive. You made those points separately a moment ago for a reason. You already know this is an apples to oranges comparison. I will play the goddamn hippo again!
He's not joking, man. He'll do it. He's done it to me, and he'll come over and do it to you too.
So because of that, the video wound up being extremely negative about the community without actually talking about many of the positives. And that's what's wrong with the video itself.
Wait, weren't you just saying that talking about positives in a video was pointless? And your example wasn't even in the commentary community, it was fucking Boogie? So you're saying the problem with your video is that you didn't do what you said you shouldn't do? This is why you don't feed sourdough to the ducks, kids.
There's also some technical aspects that I don't like, such as the introduction. Yeah, it was really shit. From the fucking crappy Leafy impression to how I tried to basically go through everything very quickly to get to a point. So it just kind of me pushing through a lot of random stuff. And you know, no, I had like a very angry tone inside of the video. What I should have done to better clarify the fact that it was a homage and not a commentary community rant was by having a little introduction skit. Like, I do actually have skits on my channel. That's probably why I didn't actually bother making a skit for it, because I have my own skits already. But yeah, because I didn't make a skit about, I don't know, hey, I'm testing out a new format. What should I make a video on? Why don't you be meta and make it on the format itself? Oh! I don't know, something stupid like that. Something to show that I have a bit of passion for what I'm talking about.
A bit of passion, you say? You mean the passion you previously said you didn't have for the video?
This is one of the many reasons I say your intention of this being an homage is complete and utter bullshit. On top of that, in the video, you outright state that you're using the style just to prove how shit it is, and then in text show that you were trying to be better than the style. And you know what? Maybe you did intend for this to come across more as an homage than a full-blown lambasting of the style. But given how entirely negative you were, I really don't have any elegant way to say this. I have zero reason to fucking believe you. From my point of view, you're either incredibly awful at conveying how you feel through your videos, or you're changing your story now that you're being called out. Either way, you look bad.
And you know, showing that it's more of a homage. And because I do use the fucking Sonic sprites throughout the rest of the video. It's not like, if I wanted to actually rant about the community itself, it would have been more of a like 1 second thing. Like, look, I can do better with fucking PowerPoint. But getting back to the point, let's talk about this and have everything live action throughout, because it would have been less to edit.
Jesus with bazookas, Dark Ghost Wind, Turkey Tom, Dark Scythe, That Kid Douglas, Just a Robot. All names off the top of my fucking head that made videos against the CC while using that same style. That Kid Douglas normally is on camera throughout his videos, and he still did it that way. So saying that they would be deviating from their normal style if they changed it isn't an excuse either. Jesus with Bazookas also continued using the style while calling it out as bad, even stating he was doing so that people could see how shit it looks. Once again, I'm left with no reason to believe your intent is what you say it was.
I didn't do that because I actually wanted it to be a commentary about the commentary community as a little passion thing. And the fact that I fucked that tone up completely, I'm sorry, was a shit video. I'll try better next time. The next video in that style has nothing to do with the commentary community. You could ask them, why did you make an entire video about it? But, you know, if I wanted to make consecutive videos about one topic, I wouldn't have made the topic of the video so fucking vague.
Okay, so I'm not even going to say that I think you are going to make more videos on the CC, because I don't think you are. In fact, I do feel like you got out what you wanted to say the first time and had no intention of covering the topic again. But what you state as the proof that you aren't going to do that makes little sense. If you're going to make a series on a topic, Wouldn't a vague topic that could be molded in order to expand the series as it goes on longer make the most sense as opposed to something rather specific? You're saying the opposite of what would show that you're not interested in continuing. How? How do you fuck up this hard?
Hi, I'm still here, by the way. It's just that Boon decides to take up the entire commentary, as usual.
Yeah. I should probably not do co-ops anymore.
To be fair, within that entire segment, I couldn't figure out what he was trying to say. Again.
Who would have thought that listening to Mumble Rep would be so useful when watching shitty YouTube... Oh, wait. I just answered my own question.
Oh no, it's not the mumbling that's really getting to me. Like, I can understand him clear and well. It's just the main choice of words in the topic that he's using that's really getting to me. Like, meerkat, this is probably an issue with the video. Well, besides with it being unscripted, but details. Again, it's the overall fact that you really keep changing the topic a lot. Sure, you were talking about how originally your video wasn't really that great, but the whole intro stuff, as well as your style of choice, wasn't really the discussion to bring up here. Like, hi, I'm still here. Truth be told, the only point I actually took from that David wrote up within the past 5 minutes was with the passion part. And that's generally because of how I don't even care about what you thought about the video in those aspects. That and, let's be fair, you're also boring me. No joke, I had to listen to the section here just to try and focus, and I still cannot figure out what you're saying because of how you're really not this interesting within your video. Like, bring some personality into your videos, even if it's with you just rambling on and on. Like, jeez.
And then, oh yeah, I actually haven't talked about why I chose the channels that I've done. Alright, so, well, I mean, I think I halved it. Alright, so, let's say I used 8363 MTR as an example of why the commentaries are bad, or a channel very much smaller. They do have the same flaws, like, you know, little starting skit with the images which don't actually fit into the background at all. They have, and then the commentary itself, it's just a background with very low quality images. There's an Anais with a shit crop. There's a gumball heavily blurred. There's like a gumball emoji that pops up, and then pretty much everything else is literally just screenshots cropped to have their face, stuff that I talked about in the video.
You know, interesting thing about the video, the main reason why those images were cropped was because most of the images I found was mainly full screen images. So I decided to crop them down simply because of how I'd wanted to have the main focus on the characters instead. Also, the main thing about that was that...
Wait, I'm sorry, babe. Which video was that again?
Oops. I guess this was an issue towards your video too, Meerkat, ha?
You did not just Mr. Hippo me.
Screw you, David. I do what I want.
I'm not gonna do that on camera. People are watching.
If I use a smaller YouTuber as an example, and the video gets actual attention, which it kind of did. It got attention from a very tiny community. But, you know, you don't really want to make, like, the Let's Player rant, because...
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
So, you know, make a video on a smaller topic, find your niche, and then you get more success that way. Kind of another reason. I'm getting off topic. So, you know, the video gets attention, and then it turns into a little call out. And if the attention wasn't entirely negative towards me, and I did actually make the video correctly, then it pretty much would have made that commentator look like complete shit. Because, you know, everything that I mentioned inside of the video, like...
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
But, you know, because of stuff like that it would have done more harm than good. punching up to the largest members of the community, they already have their audiences who are used to them getting criticism. So a lot of them are probably going to have the platform to actually defend themselves on. And, just say, alright, this video's wrong because X, Y, and Z. And people are more likely to see it. And even if the video was actually effective and I made it properly, the video would have only got like 100, 200 views at the most because of the niche nature of the community. So that would have only been like 200 taken away from multi-thousands, as opposed to that being the view rate of an entire channel, and then that gets cut in half, or even like 10 people leaving a tiny channel. Take 10 viewers away of every video on this channel, most of the videos would have fuck all views. Literal fuck all views.
Well, I'm not gonna clean up the blood. That's your problem now. Oh, come on now, you wanted to play the little doggies. Well, this is what you get. To a long didn't listen version, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is what is dubbed as the bombshell points. I get for the fact that you said that you wanted to focus on the bigger YouTubers in the CC simply because of the fact that you wanted to have them have more of a platform to defend themselves. But hey, if you really want to play that game on us, you only have 100 subscribers. I believe I have more than 850 subscribers at the time of recording this. Meanwhile, Boon here has over 1,000. Yeah, I think we can at least have some sort of platform to defend ourselves if we're going after a channel that's smaller than us. Even then, this is kinda idiotic to begin with, considering the fact of, why should it really matter? Like, I don't like playing the whole subscribers game to begin with, because isn't the points being percentage should be the main focus of the discussion to begin with instead? Why can't we defend ourselves within the first place? Honestly, I think that this is actually a rare occurrence of someone who's playing the subscriber game who's actually has less of a subscriber base. And I'm honestly kinda afraid of your mental health if that's the case.
Okay, so first of all, Jesus Christ, was it painful for you to even get to your fucking point? It took you 3 minutes to say going after smaller YouTubers would take away more of their audience if I make the video effectively. First of all, for you, all of this is punching up. Punching up means punching above yourself. And if my subscriber base is anything to go off of, there's more than 100, so you'd be punching up to me and MTR as well. Also, didn't you say the video wasn't intended as an attack? So, if you made the video correctly, then it wouldn't be people leaving the channel unless we refuse to address your criticisms. For that matter, even if you made the video correctly, people still may have decided that, the things you brought up weren't important to them. But let's discuss whether or not punching up has any impact on whether or not you're impacting someone's credibility. It doesn't. Yeah, if Nostalgia Critic, as only a somewhat recent example is anything to go by, making a video well means that you also spread the message so that other people can call out the problems. Meaning it's not just your audience that does something about it. Punching up can destroy a large channel. In fact, the phrase punching up has nothing to do with impacting the other person's credibility. It has to do with how it impacts your credibility. And it also has to do with insult comedy. If you make fun of someone of a higher status than you, it's considered more funny than if you make fun of someone of a lower status, and you'll get less backlash. And yeah, you're not going to call out people who have small channels, until, of course, they point out a problem they have with your video. Then you'll call them out and make sure your call out is done in a way that more people are going to see it, right? And for that matter, you even mentioned that Rags and Cothrix have some of the same issues too. Why not call out them? Is that too far up for you to punch?
Not gonna lie, I also think that this is another occurrence where it might be just you trying to save face if you're lying about this part of the video. Because I still think that there's something bigger than what's really going on here. Like, even if you still wanted to use these three as an example, why can't you still also mention some of the other people, even just briefly, and then get back to the main three? Still doesn't make it right in any way, shape, or form, but the way that it at least proves to me and everyone else that you know about some of the other members and at least have some knowledge of the actual community. The only main reason why I'm even mentioning this is because of your lack of research and how some of the smaller channels has appeared on Doodletones' channel. And that's not even by a live stream. So, why not click on their channels to begin with? I mean, guess who not only appeared in one of Doodletones' commentaries, but also have made a video on Manga Common's channel. I'll give you a hint. You're looking at the person.
And then there's your admittance that you picked bigger YouTubers because you wanted more exposure. Followed by you pointing out that you picked the commentary community because you wanted to fill a small niche. Those couldn't be more of polar opposites in terms of your marketing strategy with this video, so it seems highly unlikely that you even intended to do both, and straight up impossible that you could actually achieve both. If you're gonna be niche, you have to be thorough. You can't just rely on the largest examples like that, because the smaller people you're lumping into that example that don't follow that mold are going to call you out on your name. Hi, Sonic Meerkat. I'm the goddamn Boonslayer. How you doing today?
David, sweetie, you're doing it wrong. It's supposed to be, oh, hi there, Sonic Meerkat. How are you doing on this fanny-dee-dee-dee?
But I have to call myself the goddamn Boonslayer. It's so badass.
At least mine is a running joke on my channel.
And mine's from Boon Cannon 32. Your point?
I use mine more than yours, that's my point.
Well, you know, I'd use mine more, but I just don't get a chance to, and it's so much easier to just call somebody a chucklefuck and collect my check.
And that's something that I didn't want to do, so I only stuck with the bigger commentators. I wanted to mitigate the damage that could have been done via the video. And, yeah. Well, of course, in retrospect now, the video was shit.
Jeez, you think?
Reminds me of this one, actually.
The whole tone, which I realised through the reply and you know, how he pretty much interprets it as the CC rant, and why, yeah, instead of like a entire homage, hence I keep up the style throughout the video once I introduce it. The way I introduced it was literally just to say, hey, let's look at how shit this is. Which, you know, if you watch my videos, you know I love self-deprecation. But the video was kind of designed to bring in a new audience.
I see we're using pretty much every damage control tactic now. If you're trying to attract a wider audience, then how would the viewers who you're attracting know about your usual style? It wouldn't be a problem if what you did came across as self-deprecating humor. Your exact words were, and I quote,
and to prove the point of how shit this looks, I'm just going to use stolen Sonic Color sprites on a broken green screen background.
That in no way indicates any sort of appreciation for the style, only that you are replicating it to display to your audience how bad it looks. In fact, how could even your own audience know this is self-deprecation humor, since you're saying a style is shit that you don't normally use?
See, here's the thing. When you've stated that it wasn't intended to be a rant video and more of a homage or something like that, the thing about it is that you could still do a homage to something while still making a rant about it. The fact that throughout the video, you're explaining as towards what the problems with the CC does fall into the lines of what essentially a rant video on the CC is about. Since a rant is, according to Merriam-Webster, to talk in a noisy, excited, or exclamatory manner. This is hence why I've even said to you that it's a rant video on the CC, since you're giving your overall viewpoints, whether it be negative or positive, though mostly negative in your case, about the CC.
Even just talking in terms of video genres, an homage and a rant are not mutually exclusive at all. You stated from the beginning that you wanted to talk about the issues with the style. Even if you're doing that because you like the style and you're paying homage to it, you're still ranting. Well, technically, this video is a rant.
I thought this was an anime.
Also not mutually exclusive.
Hence, I went for such a niche which was likely to get views, because here's a natural flaw with the counter commentary community. No, I'm not calling it the CC and the Neo-CC. The CC could literally stand for commentary community, which there are multiple. It's a shit name. Yeah, so, you know, because many of them target smaller channels. Hell, many commentary videos which you can see have a child making the video. It's literally just something that a child has picked up and then just started making a video about, and then someone comes along and shits all over them. I didn't want to be that guy in terms of other channels.
You wouldn't have been doing that if you had covered channels other than Doodle Tone's Manga Comment and Just a Robot in your video. For one, in MTR's list of channels that he provides in the comments section, like 3 of those people total are above the age of 18. That's not you bashing children, dude. But there's one notable omission from your video that's actually part of the CC, has more subscribers than at least one of the 3 that you talk about, and guess what? One of your points applies. Ponder fucking Sprocket. Hell, she switches from using an avatar in the intro to using speed paints in the actual video itself, so that's more jarring than what you said about switching to a different avatar in the body of the video, since that's entirely changing styles. Ponder also uses skip screens, and since according to your video, someone doing something early in their career applies, she used to use the slideshow style and had co-op partners that used pre-existing characters instead of their own OC.
If that's not where you're getting at with the whole children's point, I was mainly talking about how we're covering children of all things, because, hey, I don't want to spend an eternity to try to figure out your point here, then examples, please? Oh, wait. Apparently, this is the same guy who's stating that we need to provide examples in our claims in order to tackle someone's point. Even though that you not providing your end of the evidence is potentially shady because we still can't take your word on it. Alright, I'll play your stupid little game. Alright, so I'm not gonna lie and say that I've done a few commentaries on kids. Heck, even though for the fact that at the time of recording this, I am making another one who I believe is a kid. The last one that I could recall while recording this again was Super Hatman 15, who I think at the time was about like 12 years old when I did a commentary on him. 13 at the very latest, unless if I'm, like, hugely mistaken. Anyways, the thing about that was that I've made a huge note for the fact that I don't want my audience to harass the person because of how he's a kid. And that potentially if he were to make more countdowns on this channel, then he could take a look at that video on what to improve on in the future. Here's what I'm getting at with my point. I don't get as towards why you're saying that tackling smaller channels / to an extent kids is a bad thing. Is it because of the size of our channel? Well, one can argue that we have disclaimers to tell our audience that we don't condone such behaviors. Is it because of something else? Well, that's the thing. You don't even state towards why that's a problem to begin with. Why are smaller channels even immune to criticism in this case? Actually, better yet, why can't we make videos on them when we outright tell them to not harass the person?
There's like, what, one more thing he says that's relevant in this entire video? Let's just get that over with and end this garbage fire.
If anyone's watching because they hate it, remember, these guys are novices and they're just doing it for fun.
Okay, so like, your wording beforehand implies that you're talking about people watching your video because they hate your video, which doesn't make sense, but your comment afterwards implies that you're talking about the people you covered. I'll address this 3 ways. If you're saying this about yourself, if you're saying this about people you did cover, and if you're saying this about the people you didn't. About yourself. That's easy. Don't refer to yourself as these guys. If you came out and tried to say this was what you were talking about, I would call bullshit, but you know, whatever. The people you covered. For one, you called yourself a big fan of manga comment to the point of making a notice me senpai joke about it. Yeah, I don't think referring to him as a novice would be accurate on your end. These are also bigger channels you chose because of their size, and Doodle Tones has, on public record, stated that she wants to make a career out of YouTube. I can't speak for Jar, I don't really know, but I get the indication that he would like to be professional as well. And no, doing something for fun and wanting to make it a profession are not mutually exclusive. As for the people you didn't cover being novices and just doing it for fun, I mean, the just for fun part is really just assuming motivations, but as for novices, I personally have been doing this genre for close to 3 years now, and at least 22 of the people on MTR's list have been doing this longer than me, some of them by years. Yet, once again, you say you did research, but a lot of things you've had to say prove that's not the case.
David, can we stop?
Yeah, basically. You know the drill. Go ahead with final thoughts. Mine's going to be about 27 years long.
I highly doubt it. It's going to be 28 years.
Yeah, that sounds more accurate.
Alrighty then, I might as well state mine then. But since I'm going to have a long final thoughts too, can I bring in something?
I've already used all the Mr. Hippo memes.
No. I meant this. I'm gonna have my final thoughts to have some music.
I mean, yeah, that's normal.
You're supposed to ask what type.
I'm editing this. I already know what it is.
Jeez, you're no fun. Look, there's a main reason as towards why I don't really enjoy CC rants. And that's because of how one person who's making the rant will blame it on either one, two, maybe a few other individuals on the quality of their work or even the fights that they've been in, and ignore the rest of the community. This is kinda the main reason why I've even took the hiatus. Well, except for the I'm not motivated enough thingy. I don't like how people who always generalize to CC always focuses on the top of the community and just pretend that either the rest of the CC never even cares, or that they need to help fix the higher ups in order to make the community better. Which, never mind for the fact that we either want to focus mainly towards ourselves, or that we haven't gotten the overall time to do that. Your CC video was exactly my biggest problem with it. I don't care as towards how you've said, some of these critiques can still be applied towards some of the smaller channels. And I'll make a mental note later on within my final thoughts, cause in your case, I want to call out bullshit on you for not even mentioning that aspect of it. If you really want the best example of a CC rant, then take a look at Youngblood Fantasy 91's rant on the CC. Sure, some of the complaints are outdated for today's standards, but one could argue that it's considered to be the best CC rant out there since it mainly focuses on most of the problems towards most of the people in the CC. Yours doesn't really do that. The fact that you even brought up the jar drama with Doodle Tones and then only focus on the main three, and then states that the CC's problems are like this, well, it's just a big slap in my face. I haven't really participated in public about the jar drama except for maybe within the comments section. So even with the many complaints that you've brought up that resulted in a jar drama really puts a damper in my mood. In a way, there's a main reason why I've decided to edit my commentaries extremely differently than what many of the other members of the CC besides motivation. And that's because of the fact that I want to actually stand out with how I edit my videos. I actually bring in stuff such as nitpick breaks or runaway tangents, or even with how I present the videos like how the leafy cynical community does it, because those are the things I don't really see other people in the CC do. Essentially put, I'd be damned if I still get the same complaints of, oh, all of the people, and I do mean all of the CC people do, is nothing special with their editing and such. Because it's a clear distinction towards how I do my own commentaries on my channel and how other people do commentaries on their channel. And then let's go back towards your point about the OCs. Even though I still have my OC in the beginning/ending of my commentaries, and as well as sometimes in other people's channels too, I mean, see this video as an example, I still do have two reasons why I still use characters from pre-existing shows. The first one being the fact that I actually have fun doing it, and the second one being that it's okay to use pre-existing characters if we don't really have the money nor the artistic skills to even have an OC. The third one is also for mainly to show off the history of the CC, but actually that's not really all that important. Now, I can at least get behind for the fact that if you want to bring this person in, use them as an example, and then thoroughly explain how the majority of the CC does it and why it's a bad thing to begin with in your rant. But then you also need to think about what makes a good point, which actually brings up the next issue that I have with you. You see, what I've also noticed with not only in your rant video and your response video to my comment, but also the comment that you've left in my 23rd commentary on my channel really brings up a new set of problems with the complaints that you have against the CC in general. And that's the overall fact that you're nitpicking. You are extremely nitpicking. Actually, let me make a clear analogy. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. Actually, no, wait. Let me make a clearer analogy. You are making a goddamn planet out of the tiniest of the anthills. That is how bad you are nitpicking at the CC. Like, why should it matter that the CC should really care about your complaints, such as how good the quality of the avatar pictures are, within reason that is, or how the background is changing, or how the voice has changed, or even the usage of the skip screens, or heck, any of the other nitpicks that you've brought up? Couldn't one, like myself, find those to be absolutely jarring if we take some of the nitpicks that you've presented? Look, I'm not expecting you to make a follow-up on this subject. In fact, I don't want you to make a video on this subject. This is mainly because not only does everyone want the topics to die off, but also because I have a feeling that you might be trying to damage control on the subject again. Just admit that you're wrong. You don't have to explain to yourself, because that's a final flaw within the video. You're saying that your video was bad, but you've made these weird excuses about how this was the main reason why or anything else. Too long didn't listen version of this video shouldn't have been made to begin with, truth be told. My advice, just admit that you're wrong without making these weird excuses. Don't nitpick to the smallest of details. And finally, if you ever want to talk about the CC again, or heck, any community out there, at least make sure that you're talking about all of the members of the community if humanly possible.
Okay, cool, my turn. Actually, hang on, I need to get some more water first. There we go. Here we go. Put the cap back on that. Set it down. Your video is a rambly, incoherent mess. My advice is to not make a rambly, incoherent mess.
I'm mad.
Okay, so good news is we were able to figure out what's going on with your powers, and I think I know how to get them to work. Who's the TV?
Hi. I'm MTR, David's boyfriend.
You have a name other than Boon?
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Wait. You two are dating? How do you have sex?
Oh, well, that's simple. You see,